Come here and let yourself arrive fully, not in the posture of someone who is managing their experience, but in the posture of someone who is willing to be honest about it. Take a breath. Let it be an honest one. Whatever quality it has, whatever emotion it carries, without improvement or performance. Stay. I want to speak directly to the season you are in, and I know something about it without knowing the specific details, because there is a quality that is common to the kind of difficult season that brings a person to a transmission like this one. It has a specific texture, a specific way of sitting inside a person's days and a person's sense of themselves and their sense of what is possible. It is the texture of something that has been going on longer than expected. Not a brief difficulty, the kind that arrives sharply and then resolves with reasonable speed and leaves you with the intact sense that the world is basically navigable. This is the kind that has persisted, the kind that has required sustained endurance rather than quick response, the kind that has tested not just your problem-solving capacity, but your fundamental orientation toward life. Your sense of whether the world is basically trustworthy, whether your efforts are basically productive, whether the life you want is basically available. That kind of difficulty has a specific secondary layer that is almost as hard as the difficulty itself. It is the layer of meaning-making, the layer where the mind, faced with sustained difficulty, begins to draw conclusions about what it means. And the conclusions are rarely neutral. The sustained difficulty means something is wrong. Something is wrong with the approach. Something is wrong with the timing. Something is wrong with you. With your alignment, your worthiness, your capacity, your understanding of how this is supposed to work. The difficulty is not just a circumstance, it is a message. And the message, the mind concludes, is not a good one. You have been listening to that message. Of course you have. The mind is insistent, and the difficulty is present, and it is genuinely hard to maintain a different interpretation of sustained hardship when the hardship is right in front of you every day demanding acknowledgement. But the message the mind has been sending you about what the difficulty means is not the only possible message. And I want to offer you a different reading. Not a comfortable reframe designed to make you feel better temporarily. A genuinely different understanding of what difficulty is and what it is for, based on what can be observed about how human beings actually change and grow and become. Here is what appears to be structurally true about transformation. About the process by which a person moves from one level of life to another, from one quality of consciousness to another, from one version of themselves to a larger one. It does not happen in comfort, it happens in pressure. Not because the universe is cruel or because suffering is necessary in some spiritual law, because that is how growth works in complex systems. Not through gradual, comfortable increment, but through periods of sustained pressure that push the system past its current limits and force a reorganization at a deeper level. Every significant expansion of capacity, physical, intellectual, relational, spiritual, follows the same pattern. The system encounters something beyond its current ability to process. It is stressed. The stress is uncomfortable. The stress persists, and in the sustained discomfort of that pressure, something happens that could not have happened in the absence of it. The system reorganizes. New pathways form. New capacities emerge that were not present before the pressure and would not have become present without it. This is not philosophy. This is the observed pattern of how human beings actually grow, at every level from the cellular to the psychological. The difficulty you are in is not the evidence that you are falling behind. It is the evidence that you are being expanded. Not metaphorically, literally. The specific pressure you are under right now is developing something in you. A quality, a capacity, a depth, a resilience, a knowing. That was not present before this difficulty began and will not be present in the same way in anyone who has not gone through this specific kind of pressure. You are being made into someone who can hold something larger. And the making feels exactly like this, exactly like the sustained discomfort of pressure, exactly like the questioning of what it means and whether something is wrong and whether this is supposed to be happening. Exactly like the duration that tests not just your capacity to respond, but your fundamental faith in the process. Because the process is not always visible from inside it. The reorganization that is happening at the deepest levels of who you are is not happening in a way you can observe in real time. You cannot watch yourself being transformed. You can only experience the pressure that is producing the transformation. And experiencing pressure without being able to see its productive purpose is one of the hardest things a human being can do. But the purpose is there. The productive work is happening. The difficulty is not a random hardship delivered to a person who happened to be in the wrong place. It is a specific pressure calibrated by whatever process generates the specific shape of a human life, to produce a specific expansion in a specific person, in you, this specific expansion, in this specific period. Feel something right now. Feel the part of you that has been interpreting this difficulty as evidence against you, as the sign that something is wrong, that you are off track, that the life you want is moving away from you rather than toward you. Feel the exhaustion of that interpretation, the specific quality of being not just in difficulty, but in difficulty that feels like it is saying something damning about you. What if it is not damning? What if it is the opposite of damning? What if the difficulty is the indicator of your expansion, the signal that you are being asked to become something larger than you currently are, that the life coming toward you is larger than the one you have been living, and the gap between the two requires a period of construction that can only happen under this specific kind of pressure? What if you are not behind, not failing, not in the wrong place, but in exactly the right place, experiencing exactly the right pressure, being made into exactly the person who will be capable of living the life that is on the other side of this? This is not a consolation prize. This is not the reframe you offer someone when the real answer is not available. This is the actual structural reading of what sustained difficulty is and does in a human life that is genuinely in the process of expansion. You are not being punished. You are being built. The difficulty is not your enemy. It is the process. It is uncomfortable, and it is long, and it is asking more of you than you sometimes feel you have. But it is doing real work. On you, for you, in the service of the person you are becoming. That person. The one being made right now, in this pressure, through this specific difficulty, will have something that cannot be taught or given or acquired in any other way. They will have the particular depth and the particular resilience and the particular knowing that comes only from having moved through exactly this. They will know what you know. They will carry what you are carrying, and they will be capable, because of it, of living in a way that the version of you before the difficulty was simply not equipped for. You are being equipped right now, in this, through this. The difficulty is not a sign that something is wrong. It is the sign that something very significant is being made right. Hold on. Not with the white-knuckled holding on of someone who does not believe the other side exists, with the steady, grounded, and informed holding on of someone who understands what is happening and what it is for. The construction is underway. The expansion is real. The person being made in this pressure is more capable of the life you want than the person before the pressure ever was. You are not being broken down. You are being built up. This difficulty is not your enemy. It is the most serious investment that has ever been made in who you are becoming. Trust the process, not blindly, because you understand it. Keep going.